And so today we have a top rookie panel. So these are some of the top agents in Long and Foster who were recognized early in their careers as stars. And so they're here to share their stories and answer our questions. I had an opportunity to talk to each of them in advance. And so here's what I can tell you. They're not just great agents, they're really great human beings. And they have lives they have to balance along with the work that we do. They have struggles, each of them, that they have overcome, and they still get up, they show up, and they go out into the world and serve. And I'm so grateful to have each of you here. Thank you for joining us. So Tahira Spence is here. She has a background in finance and mortgage. She was in real estate administration before she got into sales. And after being a stay-at-home mom, Tahira appreciates having a schedule that's not 9 to 5, and but she's still always available. She was the Rookie of the Year in her office in Collegeville, Pennsylvania, and also her region. Good morning, Tahira.
Good morning. Thank you for having me.
So great to have you here. All right, Tahira, how did you find people in your early days to work with?
Anywhere and everywhere. There's real estate and there's people. So just talking with people, tapping into my sphere and my community. I didn't really send out any mass notifications or anything like that. Speaking with the people that were closest to me and around me supported me with referrals and things of that nature to make sure that, I was successful in my newest endeavor. So I was pretty blessed to have that support system and people who trust me and know me well enough to give me the responsibility of assisting them with their real estate needs.
That's great. So I know you are very involved in your children's lives and in their in all their activities. Was that a way to kind of get to know some new people as well?
Yes, I am actually the crazy ass dance mom, excuse my language, but that's what I'm known as in my immediate community. I have 4 daughters and they all danced at one point. Now that they're older, I have one in musical theater and one is still competitively dancing. We just left Orlando, where she made company. Yay!
Congratulations.
She did it. And so having that connection of all the different, my children are all different ages. So I have a lot of people from different walks of life, new parents, older parents, parents that I've been friends with for 14 years plus, as our children go to school together. It's just been one of those things where tapping into that community and volunteering my time and making myself available to people and letting them know, like, look, I sell real estate, or if they're talking about real estate, I can help you. Would you like some information? More, I guess, what they would say belly to belly, face to face.
Okay. So you said you did not send out any type of big, broad announcement, but no. Do you have any way that you did connect with them, or was it really that belly to belly, face to face, and then as you were speaking with them, you just let them know you were in real estate?
Truly belly to belly, letting them know. I didn't like skyrocket into having like 10 listings and all of that. I was like kind of like a tortoise, slow and steady, and tapped into not only the business that I was doing and their resources, but also, like I said, just keeping my eyes and ears open to people who had needs, strangers, people I knew at the nail salon. If they're like, oh, this is what's going on, or how's the market? You tell them you do real estate and they're like, oh, the market is crazy. Real estate is a hot topic for a lot of people. That's where they live, right?
Yeah, I think that's so important. I mean, what we do is serve people, right? We talk about houses, we have to know about contracts, but what we do is serve people. That's awesome.
Exactly.
So, my next question is, what does your schedule look like? On a daily basis, on a weekly basis? So I'm going to start with Tahira. Tell us a little bit about what your day looks like, what your week looks like.
Well, it's summertime, so it's a little crazy. During the year, it's a little bit easier to have more of a set schedule, being that my children do come first, and I have an 8-year-old going to be 9, so she's a little bit of a handful. So generally, during the year, my day usually starts with bringing them to school, getting them off to school, and then the 10 to 2, I like to focus on my business and touch base with people, see what's going on in various ways, whether it be like Facebook message or a text message, a phone call, an email of sorts, and then dinner, things like get the kids from school, kind of figure out homework and all of that other stuff, touch base with them. And then at night, really focus on, I like to watch the videos because sometimes I don't get to see them at 10 o'clock, the Success Pass videos. Lately in our office, we've been doing accountability meetings, which I haven't been to, unfortunately, in the last couple of weeks because of summertime and just demands from my household. But having gone to those accountability meetings, I've learned a lot about different podcasts and books and things like that, that I've just been trying to focus my attention on the future and how to get my mindset in a place where A, I can do this, and B, what is possible. Because of my background and some of the things that have happened over the last couple of years, I initially struggled with the confidence of, yes, you can do this, you can be on your own, and actually selling real estate and living your passion. And sometimes when you set a goal and you meet the goal, it can be like, wait a minute, what just happened? And then you kind of have to process that and move forward. So it's been interesting for me, but my schedule is, I try to keep it set, but it has to be flexible for the highs and lows and just the things of life and showings and things like that. Houses don't stay on the market very long, so there's a level of flexibility there. If someone sends me a house and they want to see it, it's usually has to be done sooner rather than later. Appointments and things of that nature have to be done. I'm very blessed to have daughters that are extremely aware of mom needs to work and we need to work together, and it's very much a team effort in that regard, where my older ones stand in the gap and assist with my little one when I do have those responsibilities outside of the home. But I also try to make sure that I'm present for them, being that I was a stay-at-home mom for so many years and available for them. I have to be mindful of how they're interpreting the demands of my job as well. So it's a little interesting, but it works.
So I love that you set aside time in your day to focus on your family when you know that there are times that are important to them, maybe when they get home from school type time. But then once you've focused on that, you also have other times you turn back to your business later. Is that true?
That is very true. And oftentimes, I just had a client deliver a gift for my 8-year-old. There's times, especially over the summer, I have to bring them with me. And that's okay. I usually let my clients know, make sure that it's okay. They know where my heart is. They know that it's my faith, it's my family, and then my job. So if that doesn't work, then, one of the things, I think it was Boomer in his listing video where he said, you're hiring me and I'm hiring you in a lot of ways. So we have to know whether or not we can work together in accomplishing the goal where everyone is happy. It's not just like, I have to do this, or I'm some slave to my client. That's not true. And vice versa. I always try to do the best that I can in meeting the needs of my clients, whether it's tapping into the resources in my office and asking other agents for things that I'm not aware of. But it's important to make sure that they know that I'm a mom and I have kids, and they're going to, possibly be present throughout the process, but they're good kids and they're respectful. So they're not like bouncing off the walls or anything like that.
Yeah, of course. And so you do some of those things that are non-urgent later in your day when they don't have
Yes,
to be taken care of and overlapping with your family.
true.
Yeah, that's great. All right. So Tahira, I know you like to introduce your team early as well.
Definitely. Whenever I have a new client that I'm working with, I usually do either a buyer or seller consultation where I bring them into the office and I explain the processes, the documents, the disclosures all up front. That way, as we're looking for houses, if we're putting in an offer, I'm not explaining like consumer notices and stuff like that. Like I've already gone over the structure. I saved the affiliated business arrangement disclosure for the last document to kind of introduce the affiliated businesses. Sage and Prosperity, where we're located, are fantastic. I use them as much as I possibly can. I encourage my clients to use them. If they're available when I'm meeting with my client, I will bring them in so that they can meet them or at least have a conversation with them. I don't tend to show people houses without having some type of pre-qualification because of my time and the structure. I know that if I show you something and you like it, we have to move quickly on it in this market. So it's always good to have that. And they're usually, I don't want to say obedient, but they do trust my referral and they will contact them, and they're generally very happy with the one-stop shop idea. Maybe two of my clients, I don't, maybe no, one hasn't used our services, and that was because of a program that was available from their personal lender. But I love having the one-stop shop, and Rich Philpone is in our office. He's phenomenal. I like to make sure that they're qualified for what they're looking at. And I always explain to my clients, I'm a realtor, I will sell you real estate. And because of my mortgage and finance background, I like to draw a very clear line between their finances and their approvals versus their, desire to look at a home and what type of home they're looking for. However, with my background of mortgages and financing, if we ever hit a snag or something of that nature, I can and I will reach out to my client and I will advise them or give them an extra level of information to help them feel comfortable so that we can get to the closing. I had a deal one time that the father was given a gift to my client. He didn't want to provide his complete bank statement. And he kind of like redacted everything except for that one thing, including the available balance in the beginning and the available balance in the end. And, Rich was having a little bit of difficulty getting it from him. However, I had met with the dad several times when we were looking at houses previously and built a rapport with him. So I had to make a phone call to dad and let him know, look, this is a condition. This is why it's a condition. We had a conversation, and that conversation made him understand it was necessary, and he felt comfortable giving it to him. He wasn't giving it to me. And again, like I said, I don't like to get involved in that arena if I don't have to, but I will if I have to, or if it's going to help my client and or avoid some type of disaster in the process. I think that servicing the clients that you do have is important, because that client can then become a raving fan and refer you to their friends or family. So I take my service to my clients very seriously. They know that. Some of them become extended family. I have first-time home buyers. They call me Soul Mama. And, if they need anything at all, they'll still call me and say like, hey, X, Y, and Z, what do you think? And I give them my 2 cents, but I always give them options. I don't like to tell them like, this is definitely what you should do, but they know that if I should ever say that, you should probably do it. I'm very good at discerning what is happening and also narrowing down what is necessary. So they usually know
Tahira,
that.
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, they usually know that. So that's
Yes,
what.
I love your whole intention of your business, that you're looking for raving fans, right? You want to do everything you can for them, and you want them to know that the best thing for everybody they know around them is to recommend you.
Yes.
And that's just fabulous. When you and I talked, I loved that so much that I have now integrated it into a class that I'm doing on Monday on Success Path on your client care team. And how do you build your team? I've integrated some of what you've done, because I love it. And I love the whole raving fan thing. So thank you for sharing that. You've already made me better.
Thank you.
So I think that it's really important to know that your team is there for you. And when Tahira has this great background and experience, which has given her confidence. But if you don't have that, you can get on a Zoom call or call a meeting between you and your client and your partner, your Prosperity Mortgage in this particular example, and say, let's talk about this. Let's see how we can get across the finish line with this. Here's what we need and here's why. Because you have more of a personal connection with your client than our partners do, because they just haven't had enough time with them. But I do think that the alignment, bringing our partners into conversations with the client sometimes, is a great way of solving those problems. So thank you for sharing that. Thank you for being here. Thank you for joining us and sharing your stories. You were authentic yourselves. You were vulnerable. We're so lucky to have you at Long & Foster. And I hope you'll continue to participate with us in more opportunities.